afternoon, my brilliant students. My name is Joy AEC. I am your facilitator for the course ENG 141, Spoken English. I welcome you to this course, and I want to promise you that you will enjoy our journey on it all through. Today, we are going to look at the differences between speech and writing. But before we begin, I want you to understand that your knowledge from this course will boost your confidence so that whenever you speak the English language, all other educated speakers will understand you, whether they are Nigerians, British, Americans, Australians, or Canadians. And you too will be able to understand them as they speak. I've heard many of you pronounce the English words as if you are pronouncing words of your local languages. And each time you do that, it fractures the ears and then makes one wonder what precisely you are talking about. For instance, look at these words of English. Look at these words of English. The first one is womb. Say after me, womb.
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 Plumber.
Plumber.
Bomber.
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 Good. You notice that we did not pronounce the letter B. Here in womb, we did not pronounce the letter B. In plumber, we did not pronounce the letter B in bomber. This is because the letter B is silent. It must not be realized in your pronunciation. Do not pronounce it as womb, womb, like other speakers do. Do not say plumber. Do not say bomber. Do not say bomber, like other speakers do. Your pronunciation of English must depict that you are students of English. Today, we shall look at the differences between speech and writing. But I want you to understand that speech and writing are two major ways of passing information from one person to another. There are two major ways of communication, but they differ markedly in different ways. They differ significantly in many different ways. For instance, speech is the means of communicating our ideas and thoughts by using vocal sounds. When we speak, we make use of words of our mouth, sounds from our mouth, vocal sounds. But when we write, we make use of symbols on paper. Symbols and signs are used in writing. Sounds, speech sounds. That's what we use when we speak. I want you to understand the definitions of these two words, because maybe one day I'll ask you, and it will help you also to understand this lesson better. Again, speech is transient, but writing is permanent. What do we mean when we say that speech is transient? We mean that it gives the speaker the opportunity to correct themselves and change their utterances however they deem fit. But writing does not give you that kind of opportunity, because when you have written, perhaps you may have written a book and you may not have the opportunity to begin to withdraw the information contained therein, to change it with another, except where you want to go for another edition of your published work. That is why we say that speech is transient, but writing is permanent. If you want speech to be permanent, you may record it, because speech, when it is recorded, can be permanent. Are we together?
Yes, Prof.
Yes, Prof.
Which one is transient?
Speech.
Speech.
Which one is permanent?
Writing.
Writing.
Why do we say that speech is transient and writing is permanent?
Because in speech, you can correct yourself.
Okay.
It is short-lived.
And then in writing.
Yes, gift?
And then writing is printing and it's documented or something.
I didn't get you very well. What did you say writing has
I said
to do with?
writing is permanent because
Yes.
it can't be changed.
Beautiful. Writing is permanent. When you have written, you may not be able to withdraw that. People will always make references to what you have said or what you have written. People can always make references to what you have written, but it is not self-speech. Because the moment you have said that, there may be no record of it anywhere, but there will always be record of what you have written. Writing is permanent, but speech is transient. Speech is natural, but writing is formal. Writing is formal, but speech is natural, but writing is formal. In other words, a newborn baby could be in its natural environment and master how to speak, because the baby will be listening to the parents and will be able to learn the language of the immediate environment, especially where this baby is normal. Learning how to speak will go naturally. But in writing, you would have to go to a formal environment, perhaps school, to learn how to write. You have to sit and learn the procedures of writing using the letters of the alphabet and how you can put them together in that order. That is not self with speech. So remember, speech is natural, but writing is formal. Writing is
formal.
Good, thank you. Writing is learned in a formal environment.
Environment.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yes. Speech is informal, writing is formal. It is similar to what we have said before. The first one we said, the last one we said, speech is natural, but writing can be learned in a formal environment. Now, speech is informal, except where you want to deliver a formal speech in an organized setting. Then you plan your speech and you try to put it in pattern because you are going to speak to an organized audience. Otherwise, under normal circumstances, speech is informal. You just speak naturally, and then your listener will listen to you and understand what you have said without going to make some formal preparations about it. Writing is formal because you give attention to all the rules of grammar. And then you try to arrange your sentences perfectly because your reader will not be there to ask you questions. So you make sure that everything is in line the way it should be. That is writing. You will adopt all the rules of grammar and all the rules of sentence constructions to make it okay for whoever that is going to read your document. In writing, we just open our mouths and we speak, and the listener can listen to us and understand without any formal preparations about it. That is what we mean when we say that speech is informal and writing is formal. Are we together?
Yes.
Shall we move
Yes,
on?
prof.
All right.
Yes, prof.
Intonation versus punctuation. Speech uses intonation, but writing uses punctuations. When we speak, we make use of rising and falling of our voice. The tone of our voice can rise, it can fall. When it rises, we call that rising intonation. When it falls, we call that falling intonation. In writing, we do not make use of intonation at all. What we use in writing is punctuation marks, the commas, the full stops, the semicolons, and colon, as the case may be. That's what we use in writing. And so we can say that speech uses intonation while writing uses punctuation marks. Intonation is to speech what punctuation is to writing. Is that okay?
Yes, prof.
Yes, prof.
And so we move on. Direct feedback and delayed feedback, or absence of feedback. In speech, we receive direct feedback because the listener is always there. When he or she hears us, we will respond promptly. That is not the case in writing. In writing, the response may be delayed. The feedback may be delayed. And sometimes it may not even be there. You can only respond where you have access to the writer. It is not immediate as we have in speech. Yes, Phil, you were asking me in our last lecture what we mean by response.
Yes.
Good. And so you can see.
Not response, feedback.
Yeah, good. Do you now understand what we mean by feedback?
Yes, I do.
Very good. Very good. Feedback is in the form of response we receive when we speak or when we write. And what we mean here is that in speech, that feedback is immediate. It is direct. It comes promptly. But in writing, it may be delayed. And sometimes it may not even be there because you may not have access to the writer.
Like you're talking to us and we are responding.
Beautiful. That's my brilliant girl. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
Again, speech is short-term, but writing is long-term. In other words, speech does not last for a very long time, but writing can last for ages, many years afterwards. For instance, I can still see books written by my teachers in the primary school. I can see what my father wrote while he was in the primary school. I can see what my father wrote when he was in the primary school. But that is not so with speech. But that is not so with speech. Okay? Which one is short term?
Speech is short term.
Speech is short term.
And which one is long term?
Writing.
Thank you. Thank you, my brilliant students. Questions? I know you may have some questions to ask me. Any question? Any question, Gift? Are you sure?
I don't have
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Now define speech
Yes.
for me. What is speech? What is speech?
Speech is the use of vocal sounds to communicate our ideas.
Thank you very much, my brilliant student. Speech is the use of vocal sounds to communicate our ideas to other people. Thank you. Gift, can you define writing for us?
Writing is is a written document, or it's
Yes, you're making it. Try more.
it's putting down things that are being said for a future record or future purpose.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. The use of signs and symbols to communicate our ideas to other people. Okay? Now, can you
Yes.
give me one difference between speech and writing? One
Okay.
and another from feel.
Um, Writing composes of the use of punctuation mark
Good.
and graphological terms.
Okay.
And then what's the name? Speech is the use of body signs and languages that has to do with the body.
Speech, did you say speech is the use of body signs?
Speech is the use of signs. Like the body signs with the body from the body.
No, speech is the use of vocal sounds, not
Vocal
signs of
sounds,
the
yeah.
body. Except you're talking about sign language. Okay? We are not talking about
Yeah,
sign
but
language.
I came across something that said speech involves the using of the signs of the body. So the body signs, that was the reason.
Do you agree to that?
Prof, I don't know, but I think body sign, like you mean body language? If it's body language and it's sign language, it can't be speech. Speech has to do with speech organs.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Phil.
With the sound.
Thank you, Phil. We are not talking about sign language. We are talking about writing and speech. In speech, we make use of voice or vocal sounds through the words of our mouth, through the mouth. Speech must come from the mouth. You got that?
Thank you very much, Prof.
All right, thank you very much, my brilliant students. I want to give you an assignment now. I want you to find 2 other definitions of speech and 2 other definitions of writing. And I want you to find 5 other differences between speech and writing. These assignments are not difficult to do, but in case you encounter any difficulty in doing any of them, please feel free to call me or send me an email. I hope you still have my number.
Yes, Prof.
Good. And you have my email.
Yes, Prof.
Thank you very much. In the absence of any other comment or any other question, we declare this lecture closed. Thank you. Goodbye, my brilliant students. Goodbye.
Goodbye, ma'am.
Thank you.